Well, hello everybody, and welcome to another edition of the ABA Coffee in the Park. My name is Cam Milliken, and I am here with my co-host extraordinaire, Jennifer Herrick, the Executive Director of the Atchison Business Association. Hello, Jennifer.
Hello, Cam. How are you today?
Oh, man, if I was any better, the sun is shining. It is a beautiful summer day right here. We're coming to you live from the Wall Coffee Roasters in the heart of beautiful downtown Atchison. That's right. So, hey, everybody. This is going to be a great show today. I'm pretty excited. It's sunny outside, and it's summertime, and what more could you ask for?
Exactly.
Yeah. Anything you need to tell us?
Well, we'd like to thank some very important people.
Oh, yeah, those are
our
important
gold
people.
corporate sponsors, which include the MyShack group of companies,
Yes.
Genix, Parkland County, and Bow Valley Credit Union.
That's right. Without them, we would not be able to do what we do. So thank you very much for sponsoring us.
Yes.
Yeah, it's good. Anything exciting you want to tell us?
Well, Cam, there's lots going on, but you know what?
No.
I think we just need to get
into
right
it?
into
Hey,
this list.
I'm very excited to get into it because I am very, very, very excited about our guest today. So why don't you introduce our guest?
Our guest today is John Leader, who is the recipient of the 2025
Yes.
Lifetime Achievement Award for
That's
the Atchison
right.
Business Association.
So exciting.
I know.
Welcome,
John.
Well, thank you.
Good to have you. This is fantastic. I love when we do this show because this is a good one for our Lifetime Achievement Award.
It is.
So let's get started.
Okay, we kick it off like we always do. John, tell us where you were born and where did you grow up?
Well, my parents told me because, even though I was there, I don't remember.
You don't remember? Like most of us,
Like
yes.
most
Yeah,
of
I
us.
don't either. Yeah, that's right.
So I was born in the Netherlands in a little town called Wassenaar,
Wassenaar.
which is a suburb of Den Haag, or like English people would say, The Hague.
The Hague. Oh, really?
Okay.
The Hague.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, I was born there, and as a family, we immigrated to Winnipeg when I was 5.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
so,
so-
do you remember a lot about Dutchland over there, about the Netherlands, or?
Enough.
Yeah?
I know where we lived. I've been there a couple times when we
Oh,
visited.
okay. Yeah, yeah.
And I went to a kindergarten there.
Ah, okay.
And so, I got a few memories.
I'm always curious. Why did your family come to Winnipeg? Why, of all the places in Canada? Nothing wrong with Winnipeg. Just why Winnipeg?
They probably put their finger on the map and it ended up in the middle of Canada.
Right.
That's Winnipeg.
Didn't look at the temperature, the average
Yeah, right?
temperature in Winnipeg, but yeah.
No, it was because my mother's younger brother, my Uncle Peter, lived there.
Oh, okay.
And so he was a bit of a sponsor. My parents, I think, they wanted to go to the States at one time.
Right.
And we did have relatives in California, but they were getting old, and they said, no, we can't really sponsor you. And so
Right.
we ended up in Winnipeg.
In Canada, in Winnipeg.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you grew up in Winnipeg.
Yeah, essentially.
Yeah. Went to
I'm
school
still
there.
growing up, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's- okay. We have your family sitting around the table, so they may chime in from time to time on some of these things. So yeah.
So, John, what did your parents do when they came to Winnipeg?
So, yeah, it's a bit of an interesting story. My dad was I guess you would call it a bookkeeper, but in the Netherlands, he was a wealth manager, and that was long before that happened in Canada, or
Right,
the States.
right.
So he managed some families' monies and bought Phillips stock and Shell stock and things like
yeah,
that,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
And so when he came to Winnipeg, he ended up working for a company called Lee and A. Brown, which I think is still in Winnipeg. And I think they had to do some furnitures and things like that. But he was basically a bookkeeper there.
Really?
And he ended up having several jobs like that till,
Right.
well, and he worked for us till basically he died. So
Right. And your mom, was she just a stay-at-home mom, or was she out working? Or?
she was a stay-at-home mom, and she was a seamstress. And I remember in the early days, to make extra money, she would make sew choir gowns and stuff like that.
yeah.
So she'd be on the sewing machine for a good part of the day. She
Right.
was-
And how many brothers and sisters do you have?
luckily, no sisters.
As he says that with daughters sitting around the table. It's all right. Yeah, no, that's
No.
good. Yeah.
I've got 4 brothers, 2 older and 2 younger.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what's that? 6, 4,
Yeah.
2, 6.
In
No,
the-
4, 2, 6.
In the middle.
It's not
In the
doing
middle.
math.
I'm terrible at math. The point I'm getting at is that's a lot of kids for your mom to take care of, your mom and dad take care of when you're new to Canada and all that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I'm curious about this. What did you feel about your first winter
In Winnipeg.
Like,
Of course, we had never seen snow, right?
oh, okay.
So I still remember that the first day it snowed, we ran outside and tried to make snow angels and
Right,
whatever.
right,
We just
yeah.
thought that was great.
Yeah. But when it got to like Winnipeg gets to like minus 4,025, like how did you do with that one? Like
Well, in the early years, we had to haul water. So at the corner, there was a standpipe, right?
Yeah.
And so we'd take a galvanized metal drum and on the sleigh, and we'd take it to the corner, and
Yeah.
then we'd pull it back, and just before we got home, it would tip over, and you had to go back.
back and refill it.
Yeah, so there were some of those memories, yeah.
Wow.
They were kind of neat growing
That's
up.
kids today. Did you hear that? Just saying, because
Just
you know,
saying.
I'm just saying. Like now, we just go to the tap. They had to go get the water outside
In minus
in
40.
minus 412. It, like that's
Yeah,
cool.
and quite often the standpipe would freeze, so there was a little grocery store right across, and they had a kettle,
Yeah.
and so somebody would boil the water and pour it down and get
thawed
the-
out. Yeah.
thaw out the pipe so that we get some water.
Wow.
Yeah.
Incredible.
know.
I love it.
Yeah.
So-
I mean, I don't think I'd love it, but yeah, it's just a great story for sure.
Yeah.
So are you going to ask him the question that you ask everybody about high school?
Well, did you do high school in Winnipeg?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, okay, what high school did you go to?
Transcona Collegiate.
Transcona. Okay, do you remember I know this is a really way out there question.
he loves this
I
question.
love this
folks.
question. Though.
He does.
What was your mascot? What was your high school mascot? Like
There was no
a
such
beaver?
thing.
There was no such.
There was no
Okay,
mascot.
no mascot.
No mascot.
I know you're the first person to ever say that about their high school. Mind you, a lot of our guests never even went to high school, so I'm just saying that's not true. They did. No, they did. I'm just kidding. All right, so you're done high school, and then what? You
Did you stay in Winnipeg?
stay in Winnipeg? Did you?
Leave Winnipeg?
Did you?
No, so while I was the last few years of high school, I worked on a farm in the summers, and then my last year of high school is when I met Sally.
Oh.
And
Tell us about that.
so,
How did you meet Sally?
so I was president of our young peoples in church.
Yeah.
And we had what would you call it? What do you call it, Sal?
Weekend retreat.
A kind of a weekend retreat, and
Right.
we invited Brandon young peoples, and Sally was from Brandon,
Oh.
and she was actually the president of her young peoples.
Oh.
The power couple from the beginning.
The power couple, that's right. The two presidents.
That's right.
Locked eyes. So
Anyways, a rather interesting story. So, I wasn't really interested in going to the gathering, but I was staying at a house which was right next door to the church because
Yeah.
my parents had already moved to Edmonton.
okay.
I was staying with friends, and so I walked out and I saw Sally sitting on a curb. Yeah. Yeah, well, I mean, this is the
gotta
story.
be a story there. Sally sitting on the curb. I mean, that's.
She was sitting
yeah.
with a green jacket on,
Oh,
runner
you're-
sneakers.
wow.
boots.
Oh, wow.
And
Yeah.
I said, yeah, that's a cute girl. And I thought I'd try to approach her. And anyways, I don't want to make the story too long, but we ended up going out with the rest of the young people,
Yeah.
and we were supposed to go roller skating.
Oh, yeah, the good old days of roller skating. Yeah, yeah.
And Sally says to me, do you think we could go see Romeo and Juliet? The movie.
The movie.
Right.
Oh.
Because that was the big movie in those
Yeah,
days, right?
yeah.
And I hated roller skating.
And she hated roller skating. And here, we're both the presidents of our respective clubs, and I said, And I already seen Romeo and Juliet with our English class
Okay.
2 weeks before. And I thought, oh, yeah, but if I can go out with Sally, why not? So we went to see Romeo and
That's
Juliet
thanks
while
for
the
love.
rest of
That's
the...
love, don't you think?
I think it is.
Ditching the youth groups, because you're the presidents of the youth groups, ditching them. You'd already seen the Romeo and Juliet.
You're going again.
But it's love, and and he's sitting through it again.
That's right.
Yeah. Wow.
So that was our first date, so-called.
And from there, it just...
Yeah, and then, then there was a bit of traveling between Winnipeg and Brandon because, that's what, a couple-hour drive. So a few weeks after that, my friend also had a girlfriend in Brandon, and he said, "Why don't you come along?" And so I showed up in Brandon, and for the rest of the summer, I did I don't know how many trips to Brandon.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
And how long before you decided or did you know she was the one when you saw her sitting on the curb? Or pretty much?
Well, I can't remember, but I probably did, yeah.
Okay, so how long before you became like an official thingamadooey couple?
Like married?
No. Like when did you decide to get engaged? Did you do the engagement thing, or was it
No,
just
we
like
did the
straight to the
engagement
altar?
thing a year and a half later, I think, or something like that.
Oh, okay, yeah. And then you were
I was
married.
in grade 11. He moved to
Oh, right.
I had to wait another year before I could go to Edmonton.
Right. So if
Okay.
you're not hearing that, Sally was in grade 11, and John was robbing the cradle and going after the younger women, still in high school. That's actually illegal. No, I'm just kidding. I'm totally kidding.
All of 11 months.
All of 11
11
months.
months.
All right.
So then, did you get married in Manitoba?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Our wedding was in Manitoba.
Okay.
Right. Okay.
But by that time, Sally was already living in Edmonton.
Right. Oh, okay.
So just went home for the wedding, essentially.
Right. And so you moved here then. And what brought you to what brought your parents to Edmonton? And
So, like I said earlier, my dad was a bit of an accountant, bookkeeper, and we had relatives in Edmonton. There was another uncle
Right.
and aunt,
Yeah.
and they would kept sending Edmonton Journal want ads for my dad, hoping to get some family in Edmonton. And I guess either they were very persuasive or whatever. I don't remember all the details, but Dad and Mom went to Edmonton, and he got a job here. And in January of '69, they moved here.
wow.
Yeah.
It's like moving from the frying pan into the fire
Well-
in the middle of January. Or
Yes,
should I
but
say
you're
from the
moving
deep
from, like,
freeze into
Winnipeg
the...
to Edmonton,
Yeah,
so
that's
it's
true.
not-
Yeah, it's like
not
only
like a
minus
huge
35 here
temperature
instead of
shock.
minus 50. Yeah.
Right.
Right, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so they moved then, and of course then I had to stay with friends, family, and so I basically room and boarded there, and it was a little further from the school. Where we used to live was 2 blocks. This
Right.
became 10 blocks,
Right.
but yeah, I just finished high school. And then I had no compulsion to go to Edmonton because by that time I met Sally.
That's right.
Yeah.
And so I worked all summer in Winnipeg yet.
Right.
And then in the fall, I drove out to Edmonton in my $50 Ford.
$50 Ford. Oh, you young kids out there, that's real. He ain't making that up. Not that you get a Ford today for 50, but yeah, I'm just saying.
No.
Yeah.
Anyhow, yeah. So you drove to Edmonton. Sally was already in Edmonton.
No,
she wasn't here yet.
No,
Okay.
she was still in school.
Right. Oh, that's right. That's right. You're
Hello.
You were no, I'm sorry. Keep forgetting you robbed the cradle. But anyways, just kidding. I'm just kidding.
I know.
So
So you came to Edmonton.
yeah.
What was your first job in Edmonton, John?
So, like I said, my dad got a job in Edmonton, and that job happened to be with a company called Centennial Steel.
Oh.
Yeah, it's a story twists.
Yeah.
And so I was looking for a job as a truck driver because I'd been driving trucks and stuff in Winnipeg. And they said, all the guys that I approached in Edmonton said, well, you got to be 25. We're not going to hire you truck
Right.
driver unless you're
Yeah.
25
Yeah.
for insurance purposes. So my dad says, well, why don't you just come to the shop? And so I ended up as a bit of a laborer in a steel shop,
Okay.
and that was my first job. Yeah,
Wow.
and the intention was to work for a year and then go to university.
Right.
So I worked that year and started as a helper, and then they got me to do a bunch of work out in the field, and then there was a bit of a fight between the shop superintendent and the field superintendent because they both wanted me.
Wow. Fighting over you. Nobody's ever fought over me, I'll tell you that. They fought to get rid of me, but they never fought it. Okay, so
So during that time, I ended up getting a lot of experience in the field, installing rails and stairs and things like that.
Right.
And at the same time, getting a lot of experience in the shop, fitting, and never knew how to weld.
Yeah.
So I had some of the old guys show me a little bit how to tack and things like that. And then the manager approached me, I think, was it in May? They had a job that they had to work a night shift, and they asked me if I'd run the night shift.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
I ran the night shift for about 4 months, and I was the youngest of the crew.
Yeah.
And then September came along and said, well, I'm quitting. I'm going to university. And they didn't like that too much, but I went anyways.
Yeah.
And went to university and...
U of A?
U of A?
Yeah, U of A.
Yeah, yeah.
And
He was going to be a lawyer.
Oh,
That was his plan.
wow.
One of
a
the
lawyer.
plans.
Okay, yeah.
yeah, because we had a family friend that he kind of said, well, you should try that.
Yeah.
But because I came out of Manitoba and I dropped French in grade 12, because in Manitoba they said you don't need it
Right.
anymore for
Yeah.
matriculation, but when you moved to Alberta, you still needed French for
yeah.
arts, but you could get into science.
Okay.
So I went into the science program, totally bored again, and 4 months later quit.
But you're still an alumni. That's all that matters. 4 months makes you an alum. So yeah.
I don't know if it does.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if I
As
qualify
long as you
for
paid
that.
the tuition,
Yeah,
you're in.
exactly.
Yeah, no, you're in. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So you quit and went back to work in steel, or
Yeah, then I thought, well, hey, I got some steel experience, so I should be
Yeah.
able to find a job. And I ended up getting a job with Triangle Steel on 99th Street. And the superintendent there said, well, can you build this? And he showed me a drawing. And I said, oh, yeah, I can build that.
Yeah.
And he says, well, I'll hire you as a second-class fitter. I said, oh, that's pretty good. I went from a grinder to second-class fitter, just
right?
like that.
So that's a big deal.
Yeah, that was
Grinder
a big
to-
deal, for me anyways, in
Yeah,
those
well,
days.
for anybody, that's a big deal. Yeah.
And so I ended up working there for a while, and they did the same thing. They sent me out in the field, and I'd be fixing up things, and the union would get on the same site, and they'd send me back to the shop. They said, Jack Somerville knows better.
Yeah, you're not a union guy.
Yeah, I'm not a union
yeah.
guy. So in those days, that shop was non-union, but their field was union.
Was union.
Right.
And so that happened, I don't know how many times, and they kept sending me out. And then one day I said to them, I said, why don't we buy a truck that's got a welder on it, toolbox, oxyacetylene, everything?
Yeah.
Because it'd be a lot more efficient than me hauling around oxyacetylene bottles in
Yeah.
my trunk, and you renting a welder, and me always asking you to send other stuff because we're not equipped. And they said, oh, good idea. Why don't you put a budget together? So I put a budget together for them, all of $1,750. And
Just 1750.
and I approached the manager and said, here it is. And he says, okay, I'll talk to the boss. And a couple of weeks later, he says to me, well, Jack, who was the owner,
Yeah.
says, no, I don't want to do it. But why doesn't John do it?
Okay. Yeah.
So I said, okay. And so I went out and got a little pickup truck.
Yeah.
And got a oxygen and acetylene set and some tools. And here, and I said, yeah, I'm ready. And they gave me a job to quote on, and I didn't get it.
Oh.
And so a little deflated. So
Yeah.
I ended up going back to the steel company I worked for before,
Right.
which was Centennial Steel. And they gave me my first job, little job, $125. And of that, I think $75 was for the crane.
Right. I love these stories. I just love them. Okay, so yeah, wow. All right.
So that was the beginnings of me being in the steel business.
Right.
But I was just basically on my own. And then a lawyer, a friend of ours, I met with him, and he said, John, he says, we're starting this business, and for $2,000 you could have a third of it. And he says, we'll give you $500 for your truck, so $1,500
Right.
essentially.
Right.
And so, by that time we were...
Yeah. So were you married?
We were
already?
married by
Oh,
that
okay.
time.
So you're married, yeah.
And we had to borrow some money from the credit union.
Right. Right. Yes.
And so we put in our $1,500, and I ended up working for that company and basically doing most of the field work.
There was 3 people.
But-
Yeah, it was 3 people.
So you were a part owner.
Part
of
owner.
the company.
There
yeah,
was the
yeah.
lawyer, this other partner, and myself.
And yourself.
3-way partnership.
Okay.
And it didn't take me long to find out that the one guy, doesn't know too much.
Right.
And I didn't know much either, so then the bar was pretty low, right? And but I found out within, I think, 2 months he was pocketing some of the accounts receivable.
Oh.
And so called the lawyer partner. Lawyer partner said, well, John, he said, my wife's trying to get me out of this business. She doesn't like it.
Yeah.
I think we should just shut it down, and we'll pay all our suppliers and divvy up what's left. So I think it started in March, and this is the end of June, and we're shutting it down.
Wow. How did you feel about that? Like, that must have, wow.
I can't remember.
Yeah.
Well, all I guess you know is that, the future wasn't with this other guy.
Right.
Right, yeah. No, he was taking money from you, yeah.
So, anyways, we were sitting around a table, and we're the lawyer's basically chair of the meeting, and he says, okay, we've paid all our suppliers, blah, blah, blah. There's a welder left. The partner said, okay, he'll take that. I says, I want my truck back. He says,
Yeah.
you can have your truck back. He got a calculator. The lawyer got a calculator.
He's a lawyer. He didn't need
No,
more.
Yeah, but in those
he
days,
needs a calculator to calculate.
in those days, the calculators were
Yeah,
big,
that's
you
right.
know.
They're as big as a suitcase.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then he said, and there's one asset left, and he says, that's the company. And the other guy said, well, I'd like that. And
Company name.
Right.
company name and the
Yes.
corporation and
Yes,
everything.
yeah.
And the other guy wanted it, but my lawyer friend said, no, if John wants it, John gets it.
Wow.
And so I said, yeah, I'll take it.
Yeah.
And that was Supreme Steel.
Okay.
Wow. So that's the start of it right there.
That's the start of Supreme
Wow.
Steel. Yeah.
So the other guy tried to take it from you, but that's great.
Yeah.
Wow. I think that's fantastic.
I know.
What a story.
It is a great story of how it started.
So now you own a company. Now,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And a little bit of debt.
yeah, a little bit, yeah. And where to from there? Like,
No, you started in Edmonton, though, correct?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, we started and just did a little job for this company and that company. Just steel installation
yeah.
and minor things.
Did you have a shop?
No.
No, just working out of your truck and
Yeah.
Wow.
In my dad's basement.
That's incredible. That's amazing.
So our office was my dad's basement.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's incredible. And how did it grow? How did you
Well, so my younger brother Henry, he was basically the first employee because he just finished graduating high school when I
okay.
started.
Yeah.
And so he worked part time when I had work, but within 4 or 5 months, I think it was full time.
Wow.
And so for the first 2 years, I think we did a lot of work out of town. Sally keeps complaining about that
Yeah.
I was out of town.
You were gone.
Well, because
Did you have children by then?
we had Charlene.
Yeah. That's a
and-
handful. Just saying.
Yeah, not quite, I think. Well,
Yeah.
whatever. Anyways, we worked out of town, and I ended up working for several companies. And it was easy to work out of town because, one, the union wouldn't bother you.
Right.
But then we got a little braver, and in '74, which was 2 years, well, we started in '72, so '74, 2 years later, we got a little braver and started doing work in town, and union came around again, and then we became union.
Oh, okay.
We became union
Yeah.
in 1974.
Right.
Yeah.
Because you had to, basically, to survive, I guess, right?
Yeah, well...
In town, anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but then, of course, we became union all over.
Yeah.
And it was... there was a fairly big job that... it was a huge rainstorm in July of '74 that the roof collapsed.
Oh, okay.
And we ended up fixing the whole thing. And
Wow.
so we ended up getting a lot of people from the union, no problem. And then, so in a big part, I don't think we could have grown as fast without the union.
Right. Yeah.
And so, what was the year when you decided to move from your dad's basement to a physical location and having a shop?
Well, in 1974, we actually bought some property. And that's another story.
In Edmonton?
Yeah, on 184th Street, and
Oh.
we bought 3 acres, and we were hoping to build a plant, but it was agricultural. It was zoned agricultural,
Yeah.
and the city didn't look kindly on a building permit or a development permit. And about the same time, we had a crew working in Yellowknife erecting a school, and they'd been working for 2 or 3 weeks, and these were all union guys.
Yeah.
In fact, I didn't even want to go to Yellowknife. The way the story went is they kept bugging me to go up there, and I said, no, I don't want to go. The general finally came to visit me on a job site in Edmonton. He said, John, have you made a deal yet? No, I don't want to go. He says, could you at least phone them and try and make a deal?
Right.
So I went in the job site shack, and I phoned up the company, and I said, okay, I'll go, but it's going to be cost plus.
Right.
You're going to pay for all the crane, you're going to pay for all the board and room, you're going to do this, you're going to do that. And I didn't think they'd go for it. And they said, yeah, okay, here's your PO.
I love it.
So I hung up, and I phoned up the union, and I said, I need 5 guys to go, like superintendent, 4 guys.
Yeah.
Can you get a crew together? Yeah, they said we could. So I took the drawings, and I brought them over to the superintendent that they already recommended to me. He went up there, and they worked there before about 3 or 4 weeks. One of the guys quit, and my superintendent hired a local guy.
Oh, okay.
Anyways, long story short, one day he's helping on the ground, and a beam tips over and falls on his leg, breaks his leg. It's a bad break.
Yeah. Oh.
And it's so bad that they got to fly him to Edmonton. Again, long story short, gangrene sets in. They have to amputate.
Oh, my goodness.
I get sued
Yeah.
for $70 million.
70 million.
Oh, no, 70,000.
Okay, yeah.
That sounds like $1 million. Anyway.
Yeah, well, at that time.
At that time,
in
it
those
would be
days,
like
it
$1
probably
million,
was like
yes.
$1 million. 70 million, yeah.
Yeah. And of course, then I didn't get paid for that job either.
Right.
So
Wow.
I'm getting sued for $70,000. I'm not getting paid for $50,000 on that job and $20,000 on another for the same. The city that's not looking kindly on my
Right.
and all these things are coming down on me. And I remember laying in bed and praying and saying, God, it sounds like you don't want me in this business.
Yeah.
And you may think I'm a little weird, and I am, but I heard him say, John, don't worry about it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I fell asleep. Never worried about it in the same fashion. Did it disappear? No. It took 12 years to resolve.
12 years, really?
That's amazing. 12 years.
But in all those years, I believe God provided.
Yeah.
Because we never were short of money, and it all worked out.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
So,
Wow. And then from there, you just kept growing? You kept...
yeah. So, like I said, we bought that property, and I think a year later we started building on it, which was another little story, because it was a mechanical engineer friend of ours that said, John, have you ever fleeced the Lord? And I said, what do you mean? He says, well, like the Bible story. And I said, okay.
Yeah.
He says, what I'll do is I'll draw up a development permit drawing on the property we bought, show the shop size and everything, and we'll present it to the city. And hey, if they approve that,
Yeah.
it's a go.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's what we did. And yeah, they approved the development permit, and we ended up building the shop, and we built it all by ourselves, essentially. We
Right.
fabbed, we did the bricklaying, we did the pouring of the concrete.
Yeah.
Sally even tied rebar.
Wow.
I got my first.
Were you union? Was Sally union? 'Cause-
Yeah, she got a welding flash when I.
Wow.
Yeah.
I was 7 months pregnant.
Wow.
Oh
What?
my
Which child? Which child?
Jeremiah.
Oh, I was going to say, because
Jeremiah,
that
okay.
could explain a lot in some cases, but I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Okay? I'm just saying. Anyways, all right. So,
So many years later,
Yeah.
we're wanting to expand it, and the building inspector comes by and he says, "Well, how did you get the permit in the first place? You should never have gotten that permit."
sounds, yeah, okay. Yeah, we've kind of heard that story anyway.
Anyways,
Yeah.
so we expanded that place, I don't know how many times, and over the years. And yeah, we just grew and grew.
Yeah.
And then later on in the 90s, the people would come to me and say, "John, we'd like you to buy our shop." Like, I never looked for one of them.
Right.
So we bought the first acquisition. What was it, Sal?
Bridge, wasn't
No?
it? Oh, that'd be Saskatoon.
Yeah, it'd be Saskatoon.
Oh, okay.
And just someone that I met during the years in the industry, and he visited me and said, "John, I'm in trouble. Can you come over to Saskatoon?"
Yeah.
And so I went over there, and he had 5 banks, and
Boy.
he was
Yeah.
he was in
He's
debt
hurting, eh?
and past in debt
Yeah,
on
yeah.
all of them. And so we visited, I think, 2 or 3 of them, seeing if they'd be a little lenient, and probably was too late. They said,
Yeah.
"Nope, the auction set up, and that's it." And
Right.
so I said, "Well, if I can buy the plant, because that's all it would be, land and plant.
Right.
Wouldn't be any equipment, because
Equipment.
that was another bank,
Yeah, yeah.
and so on and so forth, right?" So it was First City, I think, in Edmonton that held the building and land. And so we negotiated a deal with them. We bought the land, and then we ended up buying some equipment from the auction. We ended up buying some equipment from another bank.
Right.
And that's how we kind of put Saskatoon together.
It's incredible.
And that was 1989, and basically opened it up in 1990.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
And that was when the Husky Lloydminster project was going.
Right. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And so we ended up doing a lot of work for that project, and they wanted us, or they wanted to sign a contract with us in Saskatoon, because they needed some Saskatoon or Saskatchewan
Yeah.
capacity. And so, yeah. That one went in, like I said, in 1990, and then 94 was the bridge division. The owners there said, "We want to get out of that type of business." They were just in rebar.
Yeah.
And we made a deal with them. And I said, "Well, I don't got no money." So they financed it.
Wow. Incredible. Incredible.
And so we bought that one in 94. And then in 2000, Quality, that guy wanted to retire, and he'd known me for a while, and he said, "John, I want you to buy my business." And so
Yeah.
we bought his business. And then in 2003, a manager, or ex-manager from Canron, who I'd known as a bit of an acquaintance and met him through industry.
Yeah.
We met in Saskatoon at a convention. He said, "John, I think you should buy Canron." I said, "Come on, but Canron's 3 times the size was. Why would I even think of that?" He
Right.
said, "No, you should buy it." And he says, "You can buy Canron West. You don't want Canron East." And I said, "Okay." I says, "Nah, I don't think so." Anyways, he phones me later in the summer, and I said, "Okay, I'll come." So I came to visit him in September. It's the first time I was there. And he said, "I think I can buy the business for such and such." And I said, "Okay."
They were in receivership.
Yeah, well, they were essentially owned by a
yeah,
bank.
Yeah.
And I said, "Well, I ain't got no money if they finance it."
Yeah.
So I said, "If you can make the deal, I'll go for it." So I let him make the deal, and the bank, that existing bank would finance it. And in so doing, he ended up with an equity stake in it. And so we ended up buying Canron Western. And so I said, I let him go. I basically said, "Here, you go ahead. I haven't got time to do this stuff. You do it." And by October, all the papers were signed, and we owned it. and I'd never even seen the other
Yeah.
facility.
And you owned it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my goodness, that's incredible. What an incredible story.
I know the growth.
Yeah,
right?
the growth, and this is fascinating to me. So, in all of that, your family's growing, your
Yeah.
business is growing. How many employees now? It's a lot of employees. Anyway,
One, two, three. Well, when we bought both Canrons, they had laid off everybody.
okay.
So we had to
Right.
basically start from scratch. But within a year, we probably had 600.
Wow.
Yeah,
In a year.
yeah.
My goodness. Okay. So for sake of, because we're the ABA Coffee in the Park, when did you come to Atchison? When did you decide
That's another cute story. So Quentin, Charlene's husband,
Yeah.
he was already, looking after some of our real estate by then. And this is about 2005, I think it is, right around that time anyways. And he brings this deal to me. He says, look, we can buy 2 quarters in Atchison from, I believe it was the Miller family.
Okay. Yeah.
And so we met with their lawyer, and they wanted $10,000 an acre. And I said, well, we're not using a real estate guy. I says, can we settle at $97.50 an acre?
Yeah.
Lawyer says, yeah, I think so. I'm going to recommend this to the family. So, yeah, then we didn't hear back from him. And about 3 weeks later, Quentin said, we better phone him and find out what's going on. And we phoned him. He says, oh, we sold it.
Out from under you.
Yeah.
I didn't know.
Not to you. They didn't sell it. They
No.
sold it to somebody
Well,
else.
They sold it to somebody
and forgot
else.
to tell you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, anyways, of course, we were a little disappointed, to say the least.
Yeah.
And so a year goes by, and then Quentin comes to me again and says, John, I think we should buy it. But they want $25,000 an acre now. I said, you got to be kidding.
10 to
I could have bought it for...
25. I know. All the developers who are listening to this right now are salivating. Well, we won't even say what land's worth in Atchison right now. I can
Right.
tell you. But anyway, like still 25 in today was a deal. But anyways.
So I
Yeah.
said, you got to be kidding. No, there's no way. I
Yeah.
said, last year we could have bought it for
For
10,
10, yeah.
and this guy wants 25.
Wow.
And Quentin says, yeah, but I still think it's a good deal.
Yeah.
And of course, I'm arguing with him and a little upset. But anyways, long story short, we
That's
ended
another
up
podcast.
we ended up buying it for $25,000 an acre, and so we bought those 2 quarters, and I think a year later, I think we bought another quarter there.
Right. Wow.
And the idea was to so-called develop both of them, but to use one more or less for the steel business and
Yeah.
the rest into smaller lots, which
Wow.
is now all fully developed.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
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 And for anybody listening that has been to that facility,
Yeah.
what a facility it is. It's stunning.
Yeah, it is stunning. I mean, it's not just a shop. It's not just a massive warehouse or a shop. You decided to do something different and build part of that as a very beautiful, I think it is, a very spectacular meeting center area. Why? Like there has to, I mean, what gave you the idea to do that, the impetus to want to, in the middle of Atchison, this industrial area, this beautiful meeting area, glass and steel, that's just,
Yeah.
it's incredible.
So I'd been to some buildings, office buildings in Calgary, and one of them had this really neat atrium.
Yeah.
And
That's the word there. Yeah,
and-
atrium,
and,
yeah.
And they had basically town halls in there. So their employees, you could update the employees and everything. And I thought, if I ever build a building,
Yeah.
I would like something like that. So that was, I
Wow.
think, the impetus. And then my brother Peter, he's older than me, he's the one that was managing the construction, and he did a lot of the design, and we did design together. So, yeah, we said, well, if we make a block here and a block here. And at that time, that was before the downturn in the oil.
Right,
Yes.
right, yeah, yeah,
And we already had a partnership with Fleur Daniel,
right.
and we were going to be really busy. And just when we were building that office, I think we had about 1,600 employees.
Wow.
and then the oil market tanked, and the module business tanked.
COVID.
Yeah, and then
Yeah,
COVID.
COVID.
So it hasn't been what we thought it would be.
No, I mean, the office space obviously isn't full, but the atrium area is used. Well, I know we use it
We do.
with the ABA, and we've used it for other events, for some political events and things like that. And it's just spectacular. Can I tell you, the first time I walked in there, the first time I ever saw it, what it first reminded me of, I know this sounds kind of silly, it reminded me of the Crystal Cathedral in California,
Anaheim.
in Anaheim. And I walked in and I went, this is like a mini Crystal Cathedral. This is pretty cool. Like, this is really awesome. And so I know it hasn't been at capacity in terms of your office, but the space itself is unbelievable. And I call it this little hidden gem in the heart of
Oh, it
industrial
is. Yeah.
Atchison. Nobody ever believes when you tell them about it. It's pretty incredible.
Yeah, so we've had some university events.
Yeah.
King's University. We had the Atchison Business Association. We've had some weddings in there.
Yeah.
And we've had some Christmas parties and things like that.
Yeah. Our company did our Christmas party there last
Yeah.
year. It was
So,
great. Wow. Fantastic.
I think what is so amazing to me, though, is the not-for-profits that you support.
Yes.
And in fact, you have one in your building.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so Sally and I, we've been big supporters of Rehoboth Christian Ministries for probably most of our married life.
Yeah.
And when they needed some space a few years ago, we said, well, we got some space. You can basically use that.
Yeah.
And so they've been in there for a few years. And then they approached us, I think it was 2 years ago. They said, we'd like to manage the restaurant.
Right. You have
Because-
a restaurant in,
Yeah,
the
'cause,
building. Yeah.
When we built the building, we actually did build a kitchen because at that time the steel or the oil industry was still going up.
Yeah.
And we thought, well, if we got 1,600 employees in that area, we might be a good idea to have a cafe because there's nothing close. Well, when it kind of tanked, and then we just kind of halted the restaurant part. But then when Rehoboth moved into the building, they said, well, that would be neat for our clients to participate. And so we said, yeah. So we ended up basically finishing the kitchen and the restaurant. And
Who does Rehoboth work with? Tell us who they. I know they do a number of things, but they work. They
work with special need
Right.
clients. So they got
Yeah.
a couple hundred group homes in Alberta.
Yeah.
And so that's where a lot of their effort goes to.
Yeah.
They have day programs, and so we have a bunch of the special needs. Sometimes I call them kids, but sometimes they're older than me.
Yeah.
But some of them are cleaning the office, and then some of them are in the restaurant.
Yeah.
And it's kind of neat because it takes a little longer maybe to put your order in.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I think
it's really good for them.
It's great. And
I agree.
You and I go there, and
Yeah,
we love
go
going
yeah.
there.
I do love going there. I love just because they're amazing people.
Yeah,
They
the
just-
little restaurant's called Bridge Span, and
Yeah.
they picked the name.
Yeah.
We had nothing to do with it.
And you go there, and they just take care of you, and they may want to make sure you're okay and you're doing all right, and how's your food, and it's just, I love it. I absolutely love it. It's incredible.
It's fantastic.
Yeah, it's absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, amazing.
Yeah, it's
such
an amazing story.
journey.
John, honestly, I could listen to this all day long because this is incredible, and you guys, your family is incredible, and it is. It's an amazing story.
It is.
Yeah.
And we're going to ask John the final question.
Final question.
that
We ask everybody.
That we ask everybody.
Everybody this question.
Yes.
Yeah.
John, what is the best piece of advice you've been given, either personally or professionally, that you carry with you to this day?
Well, when we were kind of building our business on 184th Street, we had a neighbor, and his name was Keith Struggs, and he owned a company called Brock Construction, and he had done a lot of work in the north in the oil field, and he was kind of a mentor, and so the amount of times we had lunch together, I can't even count. But when I didn't have anything to do, I'd walk over and we sit and chat. And one day, one of his cat skinners. You know what a cat skinner is? Well, they call them cat skinners. They're cat operators, right?
Okay, good, yeah.
Anyways,
No, I was getting a little worried that
Dan's got a look on his face.
SPCA is calling, like, how many cats did you actually skin? Like, no, sorry. So,
Not real cats.
Yeah, no.
anyways, and I could smell the alcohol in his breath. And he was coming in to pick up a paycheck, and he just wanted to say hi to Keith. And then I said to Keith, Keith, why would you keep a guy like that on your payroll? He says, John, you got to remember, there's good and bad in everybody.
Yeah.
And as long as the good outweighs the bad, you keep them around.
Wow, that's great.
That
That
is,
really is
yeah.
great. We've been talking about this a little bit, especially in today's society. I think that's fabulous. I think that's absolutely fabulous. Yeah, incredible.
Absolutely.
John, and thank you. You've become a friend to us and a friend to me, and I appreciate that. I do. I don't take that lightly. You have an amazing family. We get to work with some of your family in different areas, and that's an exciting thing. That's another podcast. We'll do that podcast
He's
later.
saying this
They're
as
not- I
some
am.
of them are sitting
No,
here
they are
staring
sitting here.
at him.
That's right. And
So as Charlene and
yeah,
Teresa
that's right.
are
We won't
sitting
mention
there.
any names. Charlene and Teresa are sitting here. You have a great wife. Sally
Sally,
is
yes.
absolutely amazing. And so thank you for doing this. We really appreciate it. Thank you for all your support.
Absolutely.
'Cause
And
you-
we are thrilled that you are the 2025
Yeah.
Lifetime Achievement
I
Award.
think it's so well deserved. So thank you.
Thank
we really
you.
appreciate it. Thanks for doing this with us today.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Wow. What a great story.
John's so phenomenal, and so is Sally. In fact, the whole family is amazing, and what a story.
Yeah, we've been fortunate enough to get to know a lot of the family, and just amazing. Great story, great people.
Great people.
Yeah,
And
and-
I think it's so great that John is this year's recipient. You know, after we've had Mike
Yeah.
Myshak Sr.,
Yeah.
Darlene Whitaker, and
Yeah.
Westfall.
Yeah, and he's so well deserving of this, and he's been such a big part of Atchison, and
Huge.
Yeah, and just again, his story is just one of perseverance and resilience, and just going to make it happen and work through it. And he's just one of the most humble, unassuming guys, and I really appreciate that.
So we hope you all enjoyed this episode.
Yeah, thanks for listening. A little bit longer than usual, but that's okay because it's a great story. So, hey, make sure you tell everybody about the podcast. Tell your friends, tell your neighbors, tell your coworkers, tell your enemies. If you don't have any friends, make one so you can tell them about the podcast wherever you get your podcasts or at www.atchisonbusiness.com.
That's right.
That's it. So
Thanks,
thanks everybody.
everyone.
See you
next
again.
week.
Bye-bye.